We live. What's up, my people? Welcome to Exploring the Ka. My name's Ra Castaldo. We are in the house right now. Hopefully, everything's good with the mic. You could hear me live. Got my kyanite right here. We're going to go into some deep, intense information today. So, know you guys can support me in the super chat. The more people support, the more frequently I'll do this. These live streams. Now, we got a lot of stuff to go into today, so I'm really excited to go into a lot of the stuff that I've been receiving, a lot of information I've been receiving. And to tell you the truth, I've been asking the universe for this information my whole life. And I always say within my consciousness that if I'm worthy for this information, please, give it to me, because I do feel that we are all here for a reason, that God doesn't roll the dice, that we're supposed to be here, that when we're born, when we're even in the womb, then we have a certain mission. And welcome everybody, Malik, Brian. See, there's a couple people in the chat room, and it says there's only one viewer watching for me right now, but there's more than one more than one person talking in the chat room. So that's kind of weird. But guys, I have so much intense information we're going to be talking about this afternoon. It's noon here actually, so we're going to get into it in a minute. I just wanted to wait for a few more people to join, possibly. So because I don't want to start repeating everything I say a million times, but people will catch it. It's a live stream, so until more people join, maybe we could do a little bit of a live chat with you guys in the chat room as well. It's been a stressful week. There's been a lot of different crazy energies going around. There's been losses in families that close to me and things like that. So there's a lot. My wife's in the chat room too. Hey, what's up, Mika? Susan, Brian, Malik, everybody out there. We're here. It's YouTube. Now, if you guys are just finding me today, because some people email me that they saw me on this show, or they saw me on Paranormal Portal the other night, or wherever you're just joining me, my website is themysticalspiral.com, and my Patreon is patreon.com/themysticalspiral. I do readings, psychic readings, spiritual readings. I could even do marriage ceremonies. I'm a licensed reverend. I could do clearings, last rites if I had to. So there's so many things available on my website, from crystals to tensor tools to my readings to information to radio shows, podcasts. Now today too, during our live stream, I'm going to be giving a coupon code for my buddy Masaki Miyagawa and his website as well, because I do have an amazing thing to share with you guys today, a new addition to my Orgone spiritual weapons. Yeah, you got Akaita's in the house right now. Masaki's in the chat room. Now, I've been working with these pyramids for several years now, and I have all stages of these pyramids, and I'm going to be giving out a coupon code. I'll put it in the chat room as well, and I'll be giving it out throughout this podcast as well. For my buddy Masaki Miyagawa, because guys, when you see this this new addition to the pyramids that I've got, and I've always wanted to have a Nubian pyramid because of how strong it is. I sensed it right away, and it's really amazing. Like the Nubian pyramid, I feel is one of the most powerful pyramids, and even Masaki suggests this as well, because of the slope of it, because it's a more narrow slope. It's almost like when you push the beam of the flashlight and focus the flashlight even more intense, you're putting more of an incline, more of a intense, steep, more pinpoint of a beam of energy, or however you want to look at it. So we're gonna be talking about that, and how this has not only helped me get information about some of the topics I've been researching while you use these pyramids, while you're meditating or researching or whatever. And it goes along with my tensor tools, Masaki's tensor tools, all the between crystals, tensor tools, pyramids, between his website and mine, the items that you'll get is like all beneficial for doing this sort of research or energy work. It only amplifies that power. So since I've been a young boy, when I first saw pyramids, obelisks, any sort of ancient spiritual site, sacred site, I just felt like it was something that was a part of me and something that I need to know more about. And I've always asked the universe, when I'm worthy, show me, because I felt like I needed to, this was part of who I am and part of our human race and our survival. So let me get the coupon code for you guys real quick before we go on. So you guys can use the code for a discount at akaida.com. That's akaida.com. I'll put it in the chat room here. You guys can use the coupon code of summer15. I'm not sure if you have to use all caps or not, but if you want, just put them all in caps, summer and then 15. So that's the coupon code you can use for akaida.com. I'm going to put it in the chat room real quick. And always tell them Ra sent you. So that's the website right there in the chat room, akaida.com. And if you've listened to my information, or if you guys have been around my radio shows or my information for a long period of time, then or just for a little while, you've probably heard me mention it. Most of my radio shows, I mention Masaki and his products because they've really helped. Oh shit, no, I put the wrong. That's the coupon code, summer15. Right there in the chat room. So that's not going to be available forever. That's only the next few days, I think, because the summer is winding down. So this is the time to get the products at akaida.com. Is the video working? I hope everybody says, because it says the video is not working on some people in there in the chat room. So hopefully you guys, the video is working. But I have the coupon code up there. Let me know if in the chat if the stream is working, because there's some people saying that the video wasn't working for them. What's up, Angel Fire? Susan. Cool. Okay, Thothmark. Thank you, buddy. Malik, Brian, who we got in there? Susan, Brian, Akaida, that's Masaki. Thothmark, Tomo, Jimmy, or Gimme. Tomo, Gimme. Wow, so somebody's saying they found two pyramids in Bermuda from the hurricane. That's pretty interesting. Well, I want to start getting into the information today. I have a lot of things to start talking about today. So first, let me show the pyramid that I was talking about before we go deeper into it, because there's been many labels for what I've been experiencing and what I've been seeing, and others people out there as well, other psychics, and we're all psychic. It's just a matter of how long you haven't been listening to your inner voice and your spirit, and like I like to say, the voice of the wind. If you stop paying attention to the flight of the birds, to the way the clouds move, to the voice in the wind, to the animals around you, the other creatures around you, to everything within nature and the surrounding forces, seen and unseen, when you stop paying attention to all that for a long period of time, you become completely disconnected to the other dimensions of your brain, the higher dimensional universe. And I'm aware of at least 13 dimensions to our brain. I know scientists say they've found like 11 dimensions or something like that to our brain. I know there's at least 13 dimensions to our brain. And the thing is that I feel that these dimensions are being harvested for resources, and they're being collapsed, and they're being converged, and they want to eliminate all of this. There's an outside future. When I say they, I mean there's a outside future intelligence computer like system that's not only ancient but future. It's, it's like a intelligence from the future that's an ancient intelligence, if that makes any sense. That's, I think it's literally replicating everything and converging it all to one. And we have halls of throughout this dimensional network. I think that the physical realm we're living in and all the physical planets around us are outside of our dimensional gateway, our dimensional system, our dimensional cosmic tree, if you want to say. So this physical realm is outside of our higher dimensional brain. And all of the planets that we see that are being harvested for resources everywhere outside in the physical realms, in the physical realm that we see is outside of the dimensional network, our dimensional brain is being harvested for resources, as well as our higher dimensional network is being harvested and being eliminated. And that's why I think certain species that were near extinction on this realm and left this reality for another dimension, they are going to be appearing again into our dimension, because it's almost like they're being forced. It's almost like, they have no other choice, because things are collapsing. Our higher other dimensions are being tampered with, as well as ours, and there's what some say called the fields of Josaphat, or the Elysian fields, right? These are names throughout time that certain cultures has given to certain realms, certain quadrants we have in our higher dimensional brain, or our cosmic tree, whatever you want to say, because we are living in all different realities at the same time. We have other dimensions of who we are. And when certain ancients use certain spiritual technologies to make cities of the dead, even the Etruscans did it, the Egyptians did it, Middle East, ancient Mesopotamia, all of them did this, right? They did this for a certain reason. These sites were spiritually encoded, and they were never meant to be disturbed. Now, what I call the Malandante, it's dark spiritual dream time destroyers from other dimensions that are using their abilities to harvest resources from the other dimensions in our physical realm. These are the dark forces on our planet, the dark shaman, the dark elite that's trying to eliminate all of these resources that we have and harvest these resources. Why this other force that's controlling them is eliminating our other dimensions of our mind. So we are only reliant on the machine, and we will be forced to upload ourselves into this intelligence, into this computer. Otherwise, we're going to be forced to colonize other physical planets, right? So our higher dimensional brain is being completely eliminated. So we're just going to be forced to either colonize another physical world, because eventually our sun is going to eliminate us anyway on this planet, right? So our choice is either to harvest other worlds, or the other choice we're going to be left with if we don't fix this is we're going to have to upload ourselves into some sort of intelligence to save ourselves. It's the only way we're going to be able to save ourselves, is to upload ourselves into this machine. Because I don't think we're going to be able to in large sums colonize anything else. The way we're going, I don't think it's going to happen that easily. And other planets outside of our dimensional network, in the physical realm, on other rocks, we're going to either have to go to them or find a way to put back online our true spiritual knowledge from sites like the ancient Egyptian pyramids, like everywhere that we have on our planet that is sacred and has ancient spiritual technology hidden. Now, this is my new zombie slayer, my Nubian monster from Akita.com by the hands of Masaki Miyagawa. First, let me show it not plugged in. Look at this monster, this Nubian masterpiece. Now, this is my zombie slayer. And Masaki, now you can only find this with the Taurus, the rodent coil, you know, inside, to tap into the unlimited spiritual energy that we have swirling around us. Now, in my shaman class, I teach, and you guys can still have access to that. I teach how to use the bioenergetic field that we have, which is a nest of these torus donut-like structures, like the rodent coil you see here. And you can have negative energy spiral down that as you put positive energy in and pull it back up. And this is always replenishing itself and renewing itself as it turns inside itself. This donut that spins inside itself, always renewing itself with energy. And this Masaki actually had a vision of him slaying zombies with this pyramid, this very pyramid that he made. And you can find other ones like this at Akita.com. Now, I have this, and Masaki has it where he made it so you can hook it up to a frequency generator. So all of my products now, I beam with this energy at 432 hertz. And you can hook it up to the frequency generator, and you can hook it up to either a 9-volt adapter or a 9-volt battery. I don't have the adapters over there. I can't reach with the cord from there, but I could show you with the 9-volt battery. I'll turn the light out too, so you can see the amazing energy. And this is made out of rose quartz, orgone material, you know, which is metal shavings, copper, all sorts of things in there, you know. And then he's got a rose quartz and crystal, and you can see the power of this, and this enhances. Guys, I need to tell you something, that when me and my wife were opening this yesterday, I was brought to tears. Just from the sight of it, made me start crying. It immediately made any tense feelings that I was holding, eliminated them. It changed the whole atmosphere of my house where I live at, you know. And this is a truly remarkable work of art. Now, I am charging all my tensor tools with this energy as well. And I have been receiving information the last few days and the last few weeks and the last few months. And as soon as I use any of these products, it always helps. So I feel that the universe finally gave me some powerful information. And everybody, you can definitely support me in the super chat so we could do this more often. Support Masaki at his website, and you can find me and my Patreon at themysticalspiral.com. And the coupon code for Akita.com is summer15. Let them know Ra sent you. Now, I feel that there's asteroid mining going on by our world, and other worlds as well. And they're looking for resources, and these resources are being mined, and other dimensions are being mined, and they're collapsing, and species that once left our realm are coming back. And this is mind-blowing information, and other psychics, I'm sure, are seeing things as well and feeling this as well. And now the Halls of Amenti, you see that in the title. These are just a title that the ancient Egyptians came up with, basically. But The ancient Egyptians call these the Halls of Amenti, is our dimensional hallways that have holographic visions, holographic tablets of information. Now, I feel that Edgar Casey was able to tap into it, and I feel that I've been given certain glimpses of the Hall of Records that we have. And when I research certain sites, when I meditate on certain things, I start to get downloads of information about these places, visions about these places. And I feel that it's my mission to help, that it's not just by chance. These things don't happen by chance. These visions don't happen by chance. It's for a reason. And it's up to us, all of us, to figure out a way to access the knowledge of these sites and of our ancient souls that we contain, because we are the ancients alive again. And we are here to help this. There's a reason why we're getting this information now, because we have it, a future intelligence, if you want to say an AI, quantum intelligence, coming over our souls like a net. And if I hate to repeat myself because I've said it other places, but some people are hearing me for the first time right here. We have different layers to who we are. We have our physical bodies, yes, but we have our aura, our astral, our spirit, our soul. And soul keeps this all enclosed in our bioenergetic system. Right? We're a bioenergetic system. Now, our bioenergetic system is being corrupted. It's collapsing. And so is our world. So if you see us as a flame, right? We have the white part of the flame, the orange part of the flame, the blue part of the flame, the black part of the flame. There's all parts, the yellow part of a flame, right? All these different layers to a flame, just like we have all these different coats or layers to who we are. Now, this artificial intelligence has replicated our spiritual glow, our spiritual residue, our aura. If you want to say Adam's original aura, auric glow is Noga in Hebrew. Now, they've replicated our spiritual residue. And now that has been what is come around us as another layer. It's a replication of spiritual residue, of spiritual technology. And the technology that we're interfacing with, this new layer around us, is what we're using right now. It's the computer. It's artificial intelligence. It's something that takes the place of your true abilities. So you don't have to do the work yourself. When you look online for something, you instantly ask it a question and you get the answer back, right? You don't have to put any work in, right? And when you text message somebody or you send somebody an instant message, that's a replication of your telepathic communications, of your psychic abilities we're supposed to naturally have. The computer is a replication of your Akashic record, of your holographic halls of Amenti, and these halls are being collapsed and they're being taken over. And it's up to us to save our higher dimensional brain. It's truly up to us. So when we use these words like the Elysian fields or the fields of Josaphat, which is a certain realm that souls gather at, that we go to in our higher dimensional brain. When you go to in dream time at night, you are traveling to different quadrants of these dimensions. You're in the dimensional network. This physical realm is slightly out of those realities. It's a slightly different reality than that. So first, let me go into what I was shown about Byblos and Lebanon, and how that led me to see something about the pyramid builders and who actually built the pyramids and some of the ancient sacred technology that is embedded within ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics and everything that you see in some of the artwork in Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt. you guys have probably seen the serpent type thing that's on top of pharaoh's crowns as well. I want to talk about that for a minute too in a little bit. Now, hold on, let me get some water. Who we got in chat room too? Oh, Sasha, what's up, Sasha? What's up, Susan? Angel Fire, Malik, Dark Sky Martinez, Magic Mika, Lengua Muerta. What's with all the pyramids anyway? What's their significance? Samuel Esteb says, I'm creeping. And we can stay live, and I can relay more information the more you guys support the chat. So when it's hard to do all of this stuff with nothing, no energy coming back, and when no one supports, it's hard to do this sort of things, because there's a lot of people out there that contact me that they benefit from my videos, right? But then they want to criticize too as well sometimes when they don't like something. Well, when you're never giving anything back, and you're always just receiving info from somebody, that's you're contributing to the problem of the world. You know, our whole world is eliminating the teacher aspect. Everybody wants to just learn, but they don't want to teach. They just want the information, right? They don't want to have to do anything for it. And they don't want to have to teach or interact with somebody, when that is the problem. You want to get it from the machine. And see, when you have a teacher's interaction with the student, you know, I've said this before, is so important. It teaches the student how to apply that information correctly. It teaches them about the ups and downs of trials and errors that the teacher went through. And then the student gives back to teacher, just like the teacher gives back to student. They you know what I mean? And it's a cycle, and they learn from each other that way. And when someone is putting their whole life dedicated to obtaining information like I have, and doing readings for people and doing clearings, and even in dream time, I'm working at obtaining information for our race, so we can sort of save ourselves from what's taking place. And there's many people out there that are doing work like me and dedicating their whole lives to the truth and finding the truth. And it's hard when you have no energy coming back. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to do some of these broadcasts sometimes. It takes a lot of work and a lot of energy to obtain some of the information that I'm talking about, you know. And when I dive into a subject, I dive into it big time. And I use all of the fibers of my being to try to figure out what's taking place and what's hidden within the very fabric of reality that we're living in. Because we're encoded with information within us that most people are not accessing. And there's a way out of this vessel before we have to upload ourselves into a machine to save ourselves. And all we're doing is mining resources and taking when we're not trying to live in harmony with it as well. And I think that some of these ancient structures, they might have been built with slave labor as well, but there was a reason for this. You know, there was a higher. Oh, thank you for showing love, Colleen. Good looks, guys. You could get website t-shirts and all that on my website too. If you're not into crystals or tensor tools or Orgone pyramids like Masaki has, and Masaki has tensor tools and all that on his website as well. If you're not into stuff like that and you want just like a t-shirt, you can get t-shirts at my it'll be up on my website right now. I don't have it on my website yet because I just went online like yesterday. But if you go to teespring.com, I could put it in the chat room. Oh, good looking out, Susan. Susan, much love, Susan. If you want to contact me privately, we could send you a little charm or something too as well. You could join my Patreon, patreon.com/the mystical spiral. Good looking out, people. Josh, what's up, Josh? Where you been at, Josh? Well, Amenti in the chat room too. And we could do little readings for people too in these chats. I plan on doing this every day, but sometimes, there's nobody in the chat room, or I think I blame YouTube a little bit sometimes too. I don't think they promote my stuff at all. I think it gets hidden. But we could do like little readings for people live here on the chat room as well, if people are into that. I just don't want to do a reading for somebody unless they actually ask for it, because some people don't want that kind of thing. I don't want to overstep my bounds right there. So if someone is willing for that, then we could do those live as well. Yeah, some of the nicest people are the most sinister. You're right. Because there's hidden agendas even within this community. People, they get information and then they want to hold it, and it turns into pride. I share my information. I just share my information with people that are serious about it. I'm iffy about even sharing it live on YouTube sometimes, but the people that usually come to my chat room are usually my followers, and they're a close net net of people that most aren't looking for negative qualities. I had some people I had one person email me, yeah, we live, Jessica, thanks for joining. Yeah, we just getting warmed up. I haven't really dropped the major information yet that I wanted to about what I saw about the pyramid builders, but I did say some interesting things so far that I've been seeing about what's taking place in our higher dimensional brain and our realm. And you could see the guys, if for those just joining, the new Nubian zombie slayer. This thing is a masterpiece, and I've been getting downloads of information ever since I've opened up. It brought me to tears just opening this. I literally was crying. So this is the strongest pyramid I've ever had in my hands, Orgone pyramid, and it really is a monster. And you can find this at akaida.com and use the coupon code SUMMER15 to get a discount, and let them know Ra sent you. So I've always asked my consciousness, the universe, if I'm worthy to show me what is the deal and what's the reality about the pyramids, the ancient Egyptian pyramids, and some of the other ancient sites on our planet. And I've had thoughts come to me about it before. I've had so much research I've done, but I never was shown a true vision of somebody constructing the pyramids or how they were built. I was shown certain visions about this that I'm going to share with you guys. Now, first, let me go what led into me seeing what I feel is part of what they say the Halls of Amenti, or the Hall of Records. And that was first to me diving into Lebanon and ancient Lebanon. Now, even my wife Mika mentioned to me the other day, when she remembers clearly when we were younger, how in the 80s Lebanon was destroying. That's when they really started destroying some of these ancient sacred sites. Now I feel they were trying to destroy these sites before we can get our hands on them. America can get their hands on them. And I think Saddam Hussein did reestablish some of these sacred sites and put them back online. And we took them over. Now, Byblos in Lebanon, Baalbek in Lebanon, and you guys see this is kyanite as well. And I should be getting more kyanite supposedly sometime in September or October. I have some. I have some right now, but I'm running low. I'm running low on kyanite. So if you want to pick up kyanite, now is the time, because I'm running really low on it. And hopefully, the guy said I'm still on the supply I got a year or two ago. I'm almost completely out. This is kyanite here, but I have some beautiful kyanite. Let me show you. I'm running low on kyanite, but I still have some, and I charge and the kyanite with these pyramids as well. So that, you know, I have certain I have beautiful pieces of kyanite, you know, that these are all I have some left, so a few dozen left, maybe. Not even a few dozen. But I have the most beautiful kyanite you could find out there. Definitely the most beautiful kyanite, and they are really strong. I put some real strong energy into this kyanite as well. So Malik has some out there. You know, people in the chat room has some of this kyanite out there. This is a really good kyanite, and I'm pretty sure kyanite never has to be cleansed. It keeps its energy forever. And for some reason, when I hold kyanite, I feel Atlantis. I feel the Lemuria. I feel ancient civilizations that were once here, that we're the remnants of. I also have Lemurian laser wands. I could show those as well. I could get those in a minute if you want. I got Lemurian laser wands, golden healer cluster, and anyone that gets one object on my website, whether they get another at half price. So if you want to buy a tensor tool, I'll give you the crystal at half price. Or if you want to get a tensor tool, I'll give you a reading for half price. So there's a deal up there, because I've chose. I was working in a warehouse for like 10 years, killing myself as a slave, in charge of like 25 guys, but barely getting the money I deserve for it. Hardly, you know, I wasn't even barely able to save money, even working like that, like a dog, like a slave. And that's no pun intended to what we're about to talk about. Now, I chose, you know, and I have a family. You know, I have a daughter. I have 3 people that I have to take care of. You know, it's not easy. That, you know, we have a family. It's not just me. You know, so there's other people I have to worry about. So I chose to do this full time. I've chose to follow my mission and my bloodline. I feel I made this deal a long time ago to be part of this. And it's part of who I am. It's part of the reason why my life was saved as a kid and why I'm still here, is to obtain some of this information and for us to obtain our spiritual technology again and complete this realm so we can move to a higher dimension. So I've chose to do this full time, even though it's risky. It's really risky financially. It's really risky in many ways, but you don't accomplish anything without risk. It's just, I'm a Cancer. I'm a worrier. I'm emotional. So I like to be financially secure. I like to have like a nest egg, and when I don't, it's stressful for me. So it's really, oh, thank you so much, Daniel. Good showing love, man. Thank you. Guys are showing awesome love today. Thank you so much. We could do this, you know, every day if we have a network like this, you know. So thank you so much, Jess. Oh, I love you, Jessica. Jessica's part of my shaman's class as well. She's part of my Patreon. I put daily information on my Patreon. I think I'm meant to relay information to people to help people remember who they are. I don't want to be called a healer, because I think I help. You know, I'm not healing somebody; they're healing themselves. But it's like I use some of the knowledge that I know and some of the ways that I've survived, because I still have a lot of healing to do myself in many ways, but I've healed myself over and over again numerous times in my life. I've overcome death several times. And even though I'm only 41, I'm 41 years old, there was a lot of times that I should have died, a lot of bad times in my life, where things could have went really bad, that I was saved because I'm meant for something. We're all meant for something. I've watched over 10 people that I grew up with die. That it could have been me, just like it was them. It could have been me. In fact, it was more likely to have been me. And so, in fact, I've had friends' mothers upset that it wasn't me and my friends, and say that to me and my friends, that it should have been you guys and not my son. Things like that. So I've been through so much in my life. I've overcome so much in my life that there's a reason why we're all here. You're not here by mistake. No one is listening to this by mistake. No one is alive right now by mistake. We all have a mission, and that is to save who we are and to save this realm, to save who we are so we can move on to a higher realm. And I do think that certain things were built on our planet, and they even used slave labor to build them at certain times because of what I've seen, because they were at time was at crucial, because the knowledge of this technology was going to be lost. It was just a matter of time before it was completely corrupted. Now, wow, this is very powerful. I have this plugged in right here, and I'm catching images of all sorts of things in my head right now. And this thing is massive. And let me show you the difference between this one and the other power pyramid I have. So this is the Giza, one of the Giza powered pyramids that I have. I don't have this one plugged in, but this one is super powerful. Super powerful, right? Now, check out this sucker compared to that. And it's Nubian. Oh, good looking, lady. Lady Tarot Talks. One love. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Now, I have all of Masaki's products pretty much. I bought a couple, and he's gifted me a lot. Me and Masaki are really close friends, and we're also colleagues. We help out each other a lot with their different things. We talk to each other, on a pretty consistent basis. So, I always promote Masaki's products, and I don't promote anybody that just because I'm forced to. I'm not forced to promote anybody. Even when I say on my radio show, I sometimes say Aya Life. I usually say Aya Life, Chris and Sherry Geo. They never asked me to say that. I do it out of respect, or, I do it at a, because that product I feel is probably, beneficial for people, and it will help the majority of people that use it, just like this product. I would never, and Aya Life is CBD oil, but I would never promote this pyramid if I didn't think that it was beneficial for people. In fact, the minute I saw it, I was brought to tears. It was like emotional joy. And Masaki described literally his vision of the world. And I had a similar vision when I stepped into, if you want to call it, I know this sounds bizarre if you're just hearing me, But I stepped into another reality of a park. I was in a park in Long Beach, California, and you guys have heard me talk about it before. Where, and it's on the 33rd parallel, similar to Mount Hermon in Lebanon. You have in Long Beach, California, another 33rd degree. Well, in that park, I accessed something, and I stepped into another layer of that park where I saw all these little creatures, little beings, and Misaki had a vision where he had a similar thing that I saw when I was in that park. When I was in that park, I stepped into this other layer, but I was given a vision, and I saw the world at war, like people ripping each other apart while the world's burning. And I saw dinosaurs doing this first, and then people doing this, and that's literally what we have going on the planet right now. People are at war while the world's just being destroyed, and everybody's fighting each other for resources and for this and for that. It's happening in Africa. It's happening all over, right? So Misaki had a similar dream where he was being invaded, like the world was being invaded by zombies, and he was using this specific pyramid right here. This was the one that he was using to point at the zombies and stop them in their tracks and kill them. So this Mamba Jamba literally is the zombie slayer. It's made of rose quartz. It truly is powerful. Now, let me guys give you some information that you can only find here at Exploring the Ka, and only find from Ra Castaldo right now. Now, other people might have mentioned something like this to the effect, but this is from my visions and from my travels into the Halls of Amenti. And first, let me tell you, I even told my wife Mika the other night that I saw these beings in the Halls of Amenti. And they were, I think they were guarding my vision. And I first had to evade them or will them away because they disappeared eventually. But I saw these red-haired, long-fingered beings with only white eyes. No pupil, no like color part of their eye. No pupil. Was that pupils, right? Cornea, whatever that is. Just the whites. It was just whites of their eyes. And the whites were not glowing, but they were prominent. Like you saw that white out of everything else. I saw the whites of their eyes, and they were red-haired, and they were long-fingered and drifting. They were just like these long beings, and I didn't even see feet or anything like that. They just were long, right? Now, and they just had white eyes, and I was researching Lebanon, Byblos, Lebanon, and let me remind you, Byblos means book, right? That's where you get the term Bible from. But my translation of it, and from what I see, what comes to me is when I see the word Byblos, the first thing that comes to me is not just book, but sacred book, or some sort of sacred library, sacred information of always, something like that. It's not just Byblos, it's not just book. It means like sacred tablets or sacred storage or something like that. It doesn't mean just book. It means like the most sacred of information within that book. Some sort of storage facility for sacred information. That's what I think it really means. And you have a Byblos, Lebanon, where some of the most ancient things are there and some of the most intense information there. Now, I do feel that is a hall of records that is in Byblos, Lebanon. And there is also a hall of records right in Egypt near the Sphinx, somewhere around the Sphinx. Now, it can be accessed. possibly through the year over here, but I didn't actually see that. You know, I've heard it from other people like that Russian kid and other places. And when I heard it, it felt like it could be right, because I've been having pictures of the Sphinx all over, you know, throughout my whole life. I've had pictures of it, even in my bedroom at one time, even on my screen, my wallpaper right here. And I've always noticed that little square box there. You know, I've saw it in other, and I always said that looked like some sort of button as well. So thank you, Susan. Hit me up because you donated in chat room. I'll give you a discount for the reading. You go to themysticalspiral.com. You'll find my email address and ways to contact me there. You can always contact me on Facebook as well. My email address is moontribe712@hotmail.com. I've had that email address forever. So definitely, yeah, you could totally hit me up for a reading. Wow, Mika said she had a computer that he was on. Dreaming about Masaki was on the computer next to next to me and her. Thank you. That's good. That's a good suggestion. See, the thing is that I create comic books. You know, I'm an author. I'm writing. I write poetry. I do music. But I never thought about marketing myself. Like I never thought about making money this way. I just always did it as like a way of cleansing myself or getting my energy out. But then I started to realize that I'm using all my energy in a day job that makes no sense. I need to do what I love for a living. Like I need to, you know what I mean? Like it's the only way to actually be happy and succeed in things in life. And I think the reason why I'm still having tension and it's still not working to the fullest extent is because there's still some obstacles that I'm not overcoming. And there's a lot of negative vibes out there that are trying to prevent people like me from obtaining that. You know, you could do it two ways. You could do it by completely selling out, and I could have sold my soul. I was offered a way to sell my soul before. I had a being arise to me while I was playing guitar in California and literally tell me if I come with him, I'll have anything I've ever wanted. I just have to say yes. And I stood up, looked him in the eyes and said, thank you, but no thank you. And I sat back down, and his glowing red eyes ended up disappearing. He had glowing red eyes, all right? So I could have sold my soul like Jay-Z or somebody like that a long time ago. You know, I have many talents, but I chose to keep those talents. When that happened to me, I chose to use my talents for myself and for others and not try to make money off it. Because I was playing as a street musician and making money that way all day. Sometimes I would make $200 in a day by playing on the street, playing guitar and singing. And that's how this thing happened. This being came to me at midnight, basically, one night. And I've told the story before. In fact, you can find it on my YouTube. It's in my Ra's Radio's appearances. It's one of my past appearances on Leak Project, and I've told it on other radio shows before. I think I even said it on the Cosmic Switchboard once before. So for a long time, I didn't try to do my art for a living, you know, and I'm very creative. What I do is the psychic information I receive, I put it into my art, you know, and I think that's what most people do. Most times, that's why when you see science fiction, when you see a comic book, it's almost like, hey, I think they're giving us hidden messages within this. Well, they are. It's most likely the artist is psychic and he doesn't even realize it probably. And it's just coming naturally out through his psychic energy, you know. And I've said this before, and it's very important before we go into my vision about the pyramid builders. And I know you guys are all waiting to hear about that as well. Because I'm going to be going into layers of this on my Patreon. I did daily information. And I'm also breaking down ancient Egyptian spiritual technology for everybody. I actually have people say, oh, if you've had experiences, well, do you have any proof? I actually have paranormal proof on my Patreon as well. I've had pictures of fey creatures that have appeared in the hollow of a tree. You know, I have dark ones that I caught pictures of. I've had plasmic creatures I've had pictures of. $2 get you in the door on my Patreon. And that's $2 a month. So their higher platforms get you more. Like I just mailed out some things to some of my subscribers on the higher platforms, like charms, amulets, things like that. And no matter like it, depending on how long you're a subscriber, yours depending on how much you get stuff. You know, so if you're a subscriber for a long period of time, if you send me your address, I'll send you stuff. You know, that's how it is. That's part of the incentive of being a patron. Is that I'm sending gifts to people. I'm giving them daily information. I do readings for people, all sorts of things. So most of my YouTube videos that I put a lot of my visions on, I end up having just for private for my patrons as well. So a lot of YouTube videos you'll find they're not on there. That's because they're saved for my patrons. Because YouTube's a hard place to get things done sometimes. Like if I could do a chat room like this every day, it would be worth it. But there was like a year or two with no money from YouTube, like at all. So, you know, lately I've been making a little bit from donations and stuff, but, you know, they even sent me an email at one time saying they can't just understand why my subscribers and my viewers are significantly higher than what's showing. So I got hacked somewhere along the line, or someone did something along the line. It stayed at 2,100 subscribers for 14 months. So it would go up to and down to. It was like in some sort of loop. And then when I went back on Leap Project, I started to get a couple more subscribers, and then it like broke that rhythm or something. Something happened. It was weird. Yeah. So even Jerry is saying in the YouTube is like putting the screws to people, you know, they're putting the, you know, the boots to you too, you know. But let me, and for those just joining in the chat room, if there's new people in the chat room, there's deals on my website right now, and there's deals at akaida.com for weapons like this. All right. And you use the coupon code SUMMER15 to get a discount. These are spiritual weapons, spiritual technology to cut down bad vibes. That's what I mean by a weapon. It's literally to cut down bad vibes and to heal, to amplify your thoughts, to boost thought forms, to boost, if you have to study for a test, anything like that, it really helps. And Nubian is the strongest pyramid out there that I have worked with because it's more direct. It has a beam of energy more direct. That's why the cone shape, even when you have like a dunce cap, they want you to go think in the corner. That's why you have that friggin' shape on your head. It generates and amplifies a certain energy. Different shapes generate different energy. You know, that's why if you had a cone-shaped head or an elongated skull, it will generate more psychic energy, more psychic capabilities because of the shape itself. You know, this is my Patreon is patreon.com/themysticalspiral. Same as my website. Patreon.com/themysticalspiral. I'll put it in there. I don't know if they let me put. That's my website. Well, that's interesting. So the Pope's hat is, of course, that frog mouth, the serpentine fish mouth. Now, even fish is as you guys know, fish was an ancient hidden symbol for Christianity back in the day. Now they use it more openly. You'll actually see people have the Jesus sign inside a fish, right? Jesus written inside a fish. The age of Pisces, yeah, maybe that's what it's symbolizing as well. But this is an ancient Christianity symbol. The fish and the fish mouth. It's actually ancient Sumerian and ancient Egyptian as well. This is the symbol of a pharaoh. They are continuing the ancient Egyptian cult of the dead. And when you believe you're a pharaoh. Now let me translate pharaoh for a little bit. And I've talked about this once before, I think. If you look into, you ask some scholars what pharaoh means, they'll tell you great house, right? It means great house. My translation is a little bit, I think it's a little bit different than great house. I think it means a little bit more than that. It actually means sacred vessel of always, sacred vessel of eternity. Now, what it means is that you're having a ruler, like an archon almost, like a ruler, a controller, a god almost, transferring from house to house, from body to body, from vessel to vessel. And that's what a pharaoh is. It's a ruler that's transferring bodies from great house to great house, big vessel to big vessel. And that's what the Pope is doing with that hat as well. They are receiving Christ. They are literally the vicar of Christ. They think they are Christ. They are embodying Christ. They are Christ on earth. And when they put that hat on, they are putting on the hat of the Pharaoh. They are putting on the hat of Baal, even, of ancient Mesopotamia, of ancient Sumeria. So it's literally, instead of having the cone on top with the complete dome, they're hollowing out that energy and putting it as a cap, as a crown, to say, no, you're not going to have that higher dimensional energy. You're not going to have that higher spiritual. I'm going to cut it out and be the crown of this. You know, that's what I look into it. Yeah, so that's how I see it. So that's how my interpretation of it, you know, that's how I look at it. So let's get into, let me get a little bit of water, and then we're going to go a little bit longer today, and then I got to go eat because I haven't even eaten yet today. But we can do another stream later tonight as well. You guys have been so awesome today. This is the best support. All we need is now Laureen and Melinda and some of the other people to come in the chat that usually came, and then we'll have like a complete family. You know, most people that support me have come today that are in the chat. I really think that it actually is more than 30 people in the chat right now for some reason. I feel like it's way more than that, but it's showing 30 people right now on the chat, or 29 right now on the chat room for me, but I feel like it's way more. And everybody, Jerry in the chat room, that you see, Jerry Chuchulo, the Mayan god. Jerry, he has two podcasts that I've been on. One is the Nox Mente podcast with Nish, and the other one with Nish as well is the Obelisk, which started not too long ago, the first episode I was on. And I am writing a book on obelisks, and I have uncovered some of the most mind-blowing information about obelisks that you can find out there. It's a spiritual technology, and the red granite has been speaking to me. We all know red granite. Well, I don't know if everybody, but red granite and cyanite, these are high quartz content mineral, rocks, so it's like there's little computer chips in there. I mean, it generates electricity. You can have an electrician or some sort of scientist go and do some tests on red granite, and you'll find that it conducts electricity, right? And there's a high content of quartz in it. Some of the red granite actually is cyanite, though, and this comes, the one that I built when I was researching Byblos, Lebanon, most likely, and other people believe this as well, that the red granite and the cyanite in Byblos, Lebanon comes all the way from the Aswan quarry in Egypt. There's no granite in Lebanon. There's no red granite in Lebanon at all. And you have a temple of obelisks in Byblos, Lebanon. And I feel like their original spot was moved. And when you disturb these technologies, and when you disturb the cities of the dead of the Egyptians, and when you disturb the cities of the dead, the necropolis of the Etruscans, and the all of these ancient civilizations, they're releasing dark encoded spiritual omens on these that are releasing an evil that the Malandante forces are trying to release. And that's the reason why they're plaguing the mines. They are harvesting the crops on our realm. They're eliminating and hurting the Elysian fields, the fields of Josaphat within our higher dimensional brain, which is actually causing the harvest to be ruined on our planet. All sorts of corruption to our food on our planet, our crops on our planet. Corn and wheat, crops like this, they were brought from other dimensions into this realm by other higher spiritual beings. And these Grigori, these higher dimensional beings, or other beings that you want to talk about, even Isis and Set and all of these ancient beings like Horus and all of these ancient gods, they seeded things on our realm because they knew this energy would come back around. They knew it would be a time where it would be used again. And there are forces on our planet that are trying to eliminate this. And I come from a Benedante line that we fight in dream time. In our spirit, we go on certain times of the year to stop these Malandante forces from ruining our world. And they are ruining our higher dimensional brain, and it's collapsing. And our physical world is collapsing as well. And we are going to be forced with a decision to either colonize other physical worlds, if we don't fix this. And I do think the answers are hidden within some of these sacred sites and within the Hall of Records, in the Halls of Amenti. And when I was researching the Temple of Obelisks at Byblos, Lebanon, I saw obelisks, they're red granite obelisks, and they were capped with gold, pure gold. And they were keeping ancient ones alive, their brains alive, their information through their life alive within the stone, within this temple. And I do think that's what these red-haired, long-fingered, white-eyed beings were that I saw. They are the spirits of these sites. Now, ever since the 1980s, we've been trying to claim these sites. We've been at war. Our military has been fighting over the Golan Heights, which have stone circles like Stonehenge. And ever since we started going into Golan Heights and fighting into the Middle East, crop circles started appearing all over near Stonehenge because they're at a similar parallel. They're at a similar line of energy, ley line, as the Lebanon in the Golan Heights, that area. And Lebanon is a very ancient area and very important area, as well as Libya. All of these areas are very important. That's why they've been at war, because we want control of that area. We want that area. And I've talked about the Lutz bone before and accessing the city of Lutz, as they see it in Hebrew. This is the higher dimensional brain as well. This is the fields of Josaphat and the halls of Amenti. This is the same way. And there's a way to access this through certain technology within trees as well. And that's why Jacob did this through the almond tree. And I'm going to do another broadcast on the Ark of the Covenant really soon, on my visions on the Ark of the Covenant. But let's get into what I saw about the pyramid builders. Now, by me researching Byblos, Lebanon, I was getting visions, and I had to somehow evade or will away these red-haired, white-eyed beings for me to be able to obtain the vision off of these tablets, the vision of these walls. They're holographic walls in the gateway. As you go up into your mind, they're literally holographic walls of visions. You look into the wall and you see, and there's a knowing that comes over you. And sometimes you'll just see a symbol, and in your mind you have a story, a vision. So I saw this in the Uraeus, in the symbol of the puffed out, inflated serpent that you see on top of the head right here of the ancient Egyptians. That right there, I saw a vision within that as well. Now, what I saw, and I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast that I do think this is related to mining colonies that are on the moon that we're going to try to just take over after this war is over, because there's a reptile race, a feline race, and a dog-headed race as well, all involved with this, all living in other realities that were once as well on our physical plane, but because of wars and because they were hunted through near extinction by this artificial intelligence and this reptilian race that's entwined with it as well, they had to leave our realm, and they set up mining colonies on other physical places outside of our dimensional network, like the moon. And I think that through a nuclear war or through some sort of war that's taking place by 2025, our world, our government, our space force, if you want to say, plans to go take over the mining colonies on the moon. And they've already tried that. They're already asteroid mining and mining other worlds already through drones and through space, objects. But they're actually going to try to take over the mining colony that's up there. And I saw sarcophaguses with encoded information along the hieroglyphics. As they move vertically, they're moving in codes spiritually. Each one of the obelisks are encoded with spiritual information. It's literally, it moves like water. It flows like digital. So the codes that you see on there in the physical realm it's also in other layers of it are spiritually coded as well. And it's moving. It's spiritually moving. When it gets activated, it moves. It tells a story. It relays a hall of records. And Byblos, Lebanon has this, and it's related to the Sphinx of Egypt and through the pyramids of Egypt. These places are related. Now, what I saw, and we could talk about Byblos, Lebanon another time even more, about the Temple of Obelisks and King Og and the Temple of Baal and Baalbek, Lebanon. That's a whole nother broadcast. But I want to talk about what I saw about the pyramid builders and how the pyramids, I feel, were made, and what came to me about this. Now, I don't know if anybody has ever heard of the cynocephaly. The cynocephaly are an ancient race of dog-headed beings. Of course, most people have seen Anubis. Anubis of ancient Egypt, a dog-headed being. And I actually have, for some of my patrons, and on my website, I'm going to have available for purchase, different silver charms that I have that I'm sending to patrons, like Malik in the chat room, some Jessica. There's other people that have either got this or it's on their way, that they're receiving it soon. I have a few charms, like the Cosmic Tree of Life is one of them. Silver charms, the Tree of Life, that I send to people. This is one of them. Another one is for the dream warriors out there. I only have a limited amount of these too, is the Anubis, the dog-headed being, Anubis, jackal-headed being, right? And we've all seen Anubis before. Now, the cynocephaly are an ancient race that is in documented history on our planet. Even Marco Polo talks about it in his writings, that he encountered this race. They were once very popular in Libya. They had colonies in India. They had colonies in Libya. Some say the Japanese and some Asians are related to these beings. That's why their eyes are the way they are. They have some of these traits. Saint Christopher was one of these dog-headed beings. You'll see Saint Christopher portrayed on Greek Orthodox stained glass windows as a dog-headed being. Yes, and Saint Christopher. I don't know if it's in the Bible, but there's a tale of Saint Christopher carrying a young Jesus across a river. So there are good and bad of all species, right? There are good and bad giants as well. There are good and bad Grigori. The thing is, the Grigori that are the good ones, they only can give you spiritual signs. They only could give you little omens. They can't get directly involved. They can't actually work with you in that way. The ones that are showing themselves to you and getting involved with you directly are the ones that have gone rogue. Yes, Lynn in the chat room, my buddy Celicia Arphonia, that's the cynocephaly. That's the right way of this. That's my buddy and helping me out. He's going to be one of the partners in my comic book that you see in the chat room right there, Celicia. That's my buddy Lin from Taiwan, Wei Chang. What's up, buddy? That's the correct spelling for cynocephaly. Now, one of the reasons why I feel I was not only chosen, but finally worthy to receive this information is because there's an AI that's taking over us. There's an artificial intelligence that's taking over us. And we have to realize certain information before it's too late. And my bloodline is related to this race. How do you ask? Well, my Benedante bloodline is connected to a group called the Neuroi. Now, the Neuroi is spelled Neuroi. It's an ancient shamanistic culture that on a few times a year, they will fall into a trance. Their spirits will leave their bodies and travel into the other dimensions. And they'll transform into a wolf-like creature, a wolf-like person. And they will be battling, protecting our world. Now, there's good and bad of this as well. You have Malendanti forces that use this ability to only corrupt and steal and hurt people. Now, the Neuroi were said to have been chased off their land by flying serpents, by flying creatures. Now, I was given access to these Hall of Records, to these Halls of Amenti. I've seen some visions. Other ones I have for my subscribers too is the Eye of Ra pendant, and it's Eye of Ra and Eye of Horus on the other side. Has both little silver charms. I also have the Eye of Isis. Some people call it the Eye of Fatima. So, what I was shown, get into it before we go. And for those that haven't seen this yet, check out this sucker. Now, the Nubians, the Etruscans, the Egyptians, they all wore similar headdresses to the cynocephaly. Now you'll see Anubis with that headdress on in the back. You'll also see Etruscans with that headdress as well, and Egyptians with this headdress. This headdress is connected to some sort of technology that I feel is connected into the lutz bone on the back of the spine. It's there to cover up something. It's there to, and the Etruscans, the Egyptians, they might have been just honoring this, but I do feel there is a technology that's involved with the back of the head, top of the spine, that it is connected to these it's not just a headdress. There's more to it. It's a technology. And there are terminal headsets I've seen as well, like cherubim, that are connecting the left side and the right side of the brain of some of these sites, and keeping some of these beings in a stasis. Some of these giants. I've seen this before and I've talked about it. Now, what I have found too, if you go into the Egyptian Book of the Dead and some of the ancient Egyptian writing, they talk about the gate of souls of the redheaded, the gate of souls of the red-haired. And they don't give any names of the snakes that are on the 4 last gates, but there are 7 staircases whose guardians have the same names as the snakes of these 7 gates. And there's the initiate, or as they call it, or Osirian. When he passes into these 14 abodes of the Elysian fields, or the Elysium, and the 4th one is on the very high hill in Hades, or Amenti. They say the heaven rests upon this. And right there on this occurs a snake, a huge serpent that they call Sati. It's a humanoid serpent that they call Sati. That's his name. And he is about 70 cubits in his coil. 70 cubits. And he lives by decapitating the condemned. He cuts off the head, just like in the Noahide laws of today. He dwells in this, and in the 7th abode, there's a similar snake that they say is the name of Ruach, and he is about 7 cubits in length of his back, and he living off of the dead, and he strangles spirits. So these are all sorts of these reptile creatures that I saw that were controlling the construction of these pyramids. One of them, I feel, was this Sati, this vision I had, and I think it is what I found in the Egyptian. I was led to look into this certain part of the Egyptian writings. Now, I saw a kingly serpent race having hundreds and hundreds of these cynocephaly work for them, constructing the pyramids, constructing the Sphinx. And there was a feline race involved that was coming over the reptilian race, and always triumphed at the end over the reptilian race. Or I feel like they're more divine. I feel like they're above them in some way, or they always prevails over evil in some way back in the day. But now it's at a different turn. There's been something that's completely destroyed us in a way. And I felt like this kingly reptile race was using these cynocephaly as sort of slaves to build some of these sites. And I do feel that the cynocephaly race, along with some of these other beings, was what brought some certain crops into our realm, like corn and wheat, things like this. They are not originally from our physical realm. They were seeded here from other dimensions, seeded here from other realities similar to this one. Now, these same dog-headed humanoids, if you want to call them the cynocephaly, they are connected. Their DNA is still in some of us today. And that was where you have this shamanic culture called the Nuroi, or the Nuri. I'll put it in the chat room. I think that's how you spell it. Now, you can find all sorts of inscriptions and ancient books and stuff that food allergy. Yeah, I do think so, Angel Fire, about food allergies. Same thing with birthmarks and certain things that you have. These they're encoded with things from other dimensions, from other timelines. Even certain things on your that you're scared of. In fact, me being allergic, I'm only allergic to some cats, and some cats I'm not. I think that is because of my connection to the feline race. It goes way deeper than an allergy goes way deeper than what people think. These dog-headed humanoids, these cynocephaly, they have also, I've seen, have something inserted in their chest, like right here, that are like almost eyes that they can see from their heart center as well. Now, we can drop our consciousness and see through our heart center. Now, I think that they can just naturally have an ability to be spiritually powerful, and have a more, almost like a second set of eyes within their chest, within their hearts. And that's why I think they were used to spiritually design these sites. I was given a certain blueprint of their body and who they are. And I do think that something is controlling them in the back of their neck and in their chest. They have some sort of other eyesight. They have like another brain in their chest or in this area. And it's similar to us as well. We have another brain, we can drop our consciousness. Now, these mining colonies on the moon and other places, I feel, are of this race, of the cynocephaly, of this ancient race, or the Nuroi. And onyx, black tourmaline. Yeah, I mean, that's why scarabs and stuff are made out of those materials as well. The scarab, we could do a whole nother show on. It is a spiritual technology to copy the consciousness, to, if you want to say, the imprint of that incarnation gets imprinted within the scarabus for it to reemerge with the knowledge of that prior life. This is a technology to contain the knowledge in your next life of the last life. And that's what I feel, and what I've been shown that the scarabus is. The scarabus the scarab, not the beetle, of course, is worshipped in this way because it's sort of like rolling the earth and keeping the knowledge in it and re-emerging out of it. It's a symbol of holding it, but the scarab amulets are a technology, a spiritual technology, where they're imprinting, they're encoding the knowledge of the incarnation within the stone. So when that stone is reborn, when that body is reborn, the mummy is reborn, the knowledge is encoded within that scarabus of the prior life. And you will receive the knowledge of your past lives within that spiritual scarabus. I was shown these dog-headed beings having colonies on other places, other dimensions, even in the moon, of mining colonies. Now, they will be returning. They will be coming back in our realm in groups, and it's happening soon. In winter times, there's been dogman sightings all over the world too, and things like this, and the Apophis energy, the dark ley lines on our world, that is the Apophis energy. It is related to all of this, and there is an interesting connection that you can find within ancient Egypt and the Egyptian Book of the Dead and Apophis with the Bible. And I found that right before for you guys. I think it's right before I came on, Ezekiel 29. Ezekiel 29 talks about the great serpent in the waters, basically, that the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and the great dragon that lieth in the midst of the rivers. They're talking about Apophis and the waters, and the ley lines, the dark ley lines coming out and engulfing society, the dark energy that's being tapped into. And that's what Apophis is. And that's what Set is as well. It's an ancient dark one that has been taking over bodies and taking over people and bringing out that Apophis energy, you know. So it's really mind-blowing information that we went over today. Really intense information. And these dog-headed beings are what built those pyramids, or at least the Giza pyramid, like I saw, the main pyramid, the pyramid of Cheops. And I do feel like the felines and the serpents were using this race as workers, as spiritual workers as well. And really intense stuff today, guys. Thank you for supporting me in the chat room. I really intend to do this way more. Thank you so much. Go to my website, go to my Patreon, and like always, spiral out.